Hello, Maeya TV. Welcome back. I'm Jessica Haro, and I'm here with Ross Johnson. He's an actor. Ross, thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Pleasure to be here.
So tell us about yourself and about your acting career.
Well, I've been living in Hollywood now about 14 years. I started on set doing background, which is basically, if you don't know, it's people who are on the screen but they're not talking. So people filling chairs at a restaurant, maybe crowd work, walking a dog. I've been paid to walk my dog on set in the background before. And yeah, we've also created, I work with a team and we've created a production company called Tripleverse Pictures. That's spelled Trippleverse Pictures, and we have a few shorts on YouTube now. We created those, started about 10 years ago, and our most recent short, we had Danny Trejo, big famous American actor. He's based in Hollywood too, so it's fun to work with him.
Tell us about the short you made with Danny Trejo.
Yeah, my production company, we helped produce that. It's about 7 or 8 minutes. The director hasn't released it yet because he's still doing the film circuit. So he's taking the short all around and he wants people to see it in theaters first before it hits YouTube. So it's not quite out yet. We worked on one before that with an actor named Eric Roberts. You can find that on, if you type in Tripleverse on YouTube and scroll down, you'll see that. It's called Perfect Angel. That one's on there. We did a short film called How to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse, and that was a lot of fun. That was our first one we did. And I also do character work as Wolverine. I don't have my chops out right now, but when I do character work on Hollywood Boulevard, and also I've acted in 4 or 5 different short films as Wolverine, Hugh Jackman impersonator. So good stuff, yeah.
So tell us about your production company. What kind of films do you make there?
Well, we help people. A lot of the time we aim to, because I work with an acting class, and some of these people, they want to become SAG, which means you're like legit in the industry. So if you want to be SAG, we can help facilitate that. It's called being Taft-Hart lead. So we can shoot a short film, have you in it, and then as long as there's another actor who's also SAG in it, and they act against each other in the scene, then we can Taft-Hart lead someone. Then that's one way they can get into the union. So we've done that a few times for different actors, and yeah, it's just been a lot of fun.
In addition to helping actors there, you also help them with active actors.
Yeah, I'm executive director there, and we help facilitate acting on screen. So if somebody is new to the industry and they don't know how to hit their mark, for example, a little X on the ground, when they walk into a room and they have to stand there, some people don't know exactly how to hit their mark. They might stand in front of it, they might stand behind it. So we help facilitate that. Also, acting on camera. Sometimes you want your face towards the camera, but you want your eye lines slightly off sometimes. You don't want to be looking directly into the camera. As on TV shows, movies, it's typically just off to the side. So we help people with that. There's also things like people have a little tick, like they might not know that when they start a sentence, they start with this. When they open their mouth, they add this little, and they don't know they're doing that. So we'll point that out to them after they read, a few lines, and we'll go back and say, do you see what you're doing here? That's something we need to fix, because it can be very annoying after a while if the person keeps doing that and they're not supposed to. So, yeah.
And you also help actors prepare for auditions.
Yeah. We used to facilitate bringing people in, anyone from Hollywood. If they had an audition, we would help. They could come in, and we would have classes in a senior center. So we would help all the seniors in the local area. We'd train them how to act on camera, and if they wanted to, we'd get them auditions. So if they had an audition, they wanted to prepare for it, they could bring in the lines and we'd run those lines with them to help prepare them for the scenes. We do, since the pandemic, we've gone online and we do a lot of Zoom type stuff. So anyone from anywhere could sign up, and then, you know, you could work from home if you have the right setup like this type of thing.
So what goes into a good audition?
Well, people need to know how to hit their mark. They need to know, you know, like I said, eye line. They need to know how to slate. A lot of people don't even realize, you know, saying their name. Some people talk too fast, and they say their name really fast, and people don't catch that sometimes. So you have to learn to slow down and say your name clearly. And so yeah, we teach a few different things, how to audition preparation.
And in addition to those, you give actors a lot of acting opportunities. Some of those are a bit unusual. Can you tell us about what you did? You kind of helped paramedics train a bit?
Yeah, we volunteer with the city of Los Angeles twice a year, and the mayor has it's called the crisis response team. And what they do is they send people over to kind of help people out if there's been an accident or a murder or something tragic has happened. When the police are there dealing with a situation, they can't always deal with the people who are involved in it, so they send these volunteers over from the city sends over these volunteers, and they try to help comfort the person who's going through the whatever trauma they're going through. Like, for example, if you show up at home and your significant other has hung themselves, that's a very traumatic thing to find, you know. So they'd send people over and they'd try to comfort them a little bit, because it's not really the police's job to do that. So they have a training center, which is like a mock set, and they have different scenes that they've set up, and we bring our actors in and they'll act out the scenes for the volunteers so that they get a bit of experience, a bit of training, so that when they're there in the real situation, they know exactly how to, or a little bit anyway, how to deal with the people.
Does that experience also help the actors?
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to be very emotional. You know, these are very emotional scenes, so a lot of crying. We try to bring your tears out if you can. You know, a lot of actors, they have to bring up emotional things from their past to be able to get the tears. So it's a very draining day for the actors, because you're putting your heart into it, trying to be as real as you can, and that can be very emotional. So yeah, it definitely helps them in a scene that they might not have done before, having to act like that.
In addition to all that, you also do impersonations. Your character that you impersonate a lot is Wolverine.
Yeah, I've been told many times that I resemble Hugh Jackman, so I didn't really see it back in the day, but when you hear it so many times, you figure, oh, maybe, huh? So maybe I can try to make some money out of this. So over on Hollywood Boulevard, I'm not sure if anyone's aware, but there's characters that look like they've walked off the set from a movie. There's people that dress and impersonate people that look like they're from a movie. For example, my friend has a $7,000 Iron Man costume. He looks like he walked off set as Iron Man. You know, my friend looks like Johnny Depp, so he dresses like Captain Jack Sparrow and does the walk and all of this, and he's super in double take. You know, you walk by him on the street and you're like, whoa, that's not Johnny Depp, is it? Because he's that good. So yeah, I started dressing like Wolverine and went down there, and before I knew it, so many people just wanted photos, and they tip you for pictures. So I ended up doing that for quite a while, and ended up meeting all these people, like I said, Captain Jack, Michael Jackson, Iron Man, all these different characters. I ended up writing a short film for everybody, because I thought, this is too good to not put all these characters into something together. So we got Jules from Pulp Fiction. You know, I wrote a few lines for him. We got Alan from The Hangover. So I wrote lines for everybody and then put it into one thing. We shot it in my living room, and over the course of 2 days. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I worked private parties too, private events. One time, this guy was getting married, and his wife knew he loved Wolverine. So after they were having like a big dinner, and I just show up and walk in, and the guy's like, "What? Wolverine's here? What's going on?" This is about 5 years ago when the movies were really popular, and I carry extra claws in my pocket. So we get a couple pics, and I say, "Hey, Bob, I got something for you." And I'd reach in and bust out his claws, and he'd be like, "Well, I get to wear claws." So I got pictures, and he's in his tuxedo, and he's got these claws on like Wolverine, and I'm standing next to him, and his wife's there. She's like, so we do random gigs like that. Yeah.
So, so what do you have to keep in mind when you're doing this? Because I know a lot of work you're doing like someone else's. You're doing an impersonation of someone else's acting. What goes into that?
Well, smoke and mirrors. You know, you got to try to look as much like them as possible if you want respect from the people on the street, or if you want to get hired for something, you got to look spot on. So getting the exact suit, sometimes you can't find the suit that they have from the movie, so you have to alter it or make something out of something similar. So I've had to do that a few times with the black leather that Wolverine wears. Yeah, you want to try to make things look as legit as possible. So there's, you end up doing a deep dive looking for the right props so that you're legit. I've got to grow my hair out, go like him for that. You watch the movies, you study the mannerisms, and get a few lines down for the movie, and throw those out to people, and they love it.
Do you have like the yellow suit or?
Yeah. I started with the white tank top, and then got the black leather suit, and then as the movies progressed over the years, he just came out with a Deadpool and Wolverine in the yellow, so I got that one too. I have an Instagram. You could find me on there at Hollywood Wolverine if you'd like to check out some pictures. And if you scroll down, there's hundreds of pictures, but then you'll start to see all the other characters that I mentioned.
And so I understand the people there are not hired by like Hollywood Boulevard. You just show up and work it.
It's the technical term is busking, street performing. So you can do this anywhere in the world. I've done this in Vegas as well, and also in Holland, in Amsterdam. Just took my suit over there, and there are some buskers, so I thought I'd give it a try. And yeah, I made some quick cash. It's good fun.
I'm sure you get a lot of good interactions with kids can be especially interested in this, especially when they're really young. They don't get that it's they don't think, oh, that's not really Wolverine. You're dressed like Wolverine, you are Wolverine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, to the kids, it's fantastic. And they see Wolverine's here. What? Point to poke their little sister. Wolverine. And it's funny, even 4-year-olds know the character. So they get a little kid like this looking up at me, and we'll get some pictures, and I'll pull out my claws for the kid too. They fit them, and universal size. So they can hold the claws. They're half the size of the kid, but they look great, and they love it.
Now, as far as your acting, and your producing, what kind of films do you want to make?
I'd like to make a Western. I'd really like to make a Western feature. No budget for it right now, so it's on hold, but we've got some ideas for it. And started writing the script, but it's not finished yet, so we'll see how that goes.
Were there any films that you watched growing up that have been really influential to you?
Back to the Future trilogy and Indiana Jones, especially Back to the Future. I just think it's a great film. It's as far as filmmaking goes, it's perfect. Just the cinematography, everything about it. It's just the acting. They've got time travel in that, and that's what I want to do with my Western. So that
really?
Yeah, I've got an idea from Back to the Future for my Western.
Like they come from the present to the past, or?
Yeah, someone is being chased by an unruly mob in the past, and they go somewhere and get transported into the future, and then the descendants of the mob find out the descendants are still looking for that character, and then they end up finding him. So
Okay, cool. And you haven't made a feature yet, but I know that's something. Is that something that you would like to do in the future?
yeah, the Western would be the first feature if that comes to fruition. It's just quite a big job and not much budget for a feature right now, so we'll see what happens.
And so then you work in your production company. You're obviously the producer. So what goes into producing short films?
A lot of paperwork to make them SAG, because we always want to make them legit. So there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be done. Making sure, because we only film for a day or two, but the pre-production can take weeks, if not months, to make sure everything's lined up and all the equipment's ready, and getting everyone lined up on the same day can be an issue sometimes, but those are the things you got to focus on. So and feed everybody. Make sure everyone gets fed well. That's an important thing if you're shooting.
Do you have any words of advice for people who are new to acting and producing, but who want to get more involved in it?
Yeah, I'd say if you've never been on set whatsoever and you do want to act, then start with background. I think it's a good thing to be on set, to experience how things are working in the real world, you know, without having to be, like, you don't want to be thrown on set for your first time with all these lines, and you're walking out and you're under the lights and you're like, you know, everything's new and it's a bit overwhelming. So by doing background, I think you get to experience also what everyone has to go through on set. Like, the background actors can do a lot of waiting around, and if you've never done that and you just go straight into acting, you might not know that, so you don't have respect as much for the background actors. So I think that if you've done background, you have more respect later when you're just working for lines and stuff.
Now, where can our viewers find out more about you and your work?
Instagram is Ross Michael Johnson, all one word. And recently we've been working red carpet events where I will interview people, or sometimes I'll just work the camera, and we have another person that works with us who is a photographer. So there's some pictures up there on Ross Michael Johnson on Instagram. Hollywood Wolverine is my other Instagram, and it can be contacted through both of those regarding shooting or filming. Depends what you need.
Yeah, and thank you so much for coming here and being on Maeya TV.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure.
And keep watching, viewers, because we have another great review coming up. Bye.